Up, everyone? Today we're going to go over common objections and how to overcome them. Now, this is going to be more of a Q&A with each other because I want everyone to be able to ask options on stuff they're struggling with. Now, I'll go over common stuff that I come across, but if you guys come across something, then I'd love for you guys to go over it as well. So let's get started. Ooh, no, we want that. All right, and let me share my screen real quick. Ooh, let me get Susie in here. Speaker view. Ooh, no, got it. Okay. Hey, Susie. So that's funny. Yes, more people. What's up? All right, so today the very biggest thing that I'm going to talk about are buyers. Then I'll go into sellers as well. But with buyers, the biggest stuff that I see common are them trying to get off the phone. So if I'm calling someone on Boomtown, and the very first thing I want to try to do is hook them on just getting in front of them. Because usually the first person that gets in front of the buyer is the first person that I cannot look at myself on TV. That's so funny. It is the first person that they usually go with. So my biggest thing is when I'm calling these leads, I say, hey, is this George, whatever their lead name is. And what I want to do is say, hey, George, did you want to see houses this weekend? My goal isn't to show them houses this weekend, honestly. The goal is to get them pre-approved, and if they're pre-approved, then yeah, show them houses. But I don't want to be showing them houses without them being approved. A lot of times buyers will say, no, not this weekend, but yeah, maybe in like 2 weeks or so. And that's good. That's a really good answer because you know these people are actually want to buy something. And that's more of a pipeline. So at that point, what I want to do is try and turn the conversation to, okay, great, tell me what you're looking for. I want to know what you're looking for. That way I can dictate my search directly for you. I don't want to push you in anything. I just want to make sure that I'm looking exactly what you want. And when you can talk about the person more about them, it makes their thinking like, oh my God, this person actually cares about me. And that's what you want. Most people, if they say, no, I don't want to see houses, I'm just looking, that's where you got to turn the conversation again. And the biggest thing is to get them to talk to you about what they want. So at this point, what I'm going to do again is say, hey, no problem. My website is totally open for you. You have free access to it. I'll make sure I won't bother you. However, if you did need some help, I'm here for you. Did you have any questions or tell me just a little bit of what you were looking for? And sometimes they open up, sometimes they don't. But if I'm asking them what they want, even though they said, hey, I'm just looking, again, that's making it to where they're opening up a little bit, saying, yeah, okay, I'm looking for something in Virginia Beach, 3-bed, 2-bath. But again, if that person's still saying, no, I don't want to, that's where we go, okay, again, no problem. I'm here for you. And did you have any plans on buying within the next year or so? I just want to make sure I don't reach out too much, but I don't want to reach out too little. Again, this is mainly so we can get in front of them and just talk to them and have them open up a little bit. Because the more info we get, the better I can help them. So if they say, okay, yeah, I'm going to be looking in about 6 months, reach out to me then, I'll be more than happy to talk to you. Great. I found out some key info there that they told me they're looking to buy in 6 months. It wasn't to where I just accepted the rejection and they said, yeah, don't talk to me. I found out now they want to buy in 6 months, which is great info because now I can say, okay, I'll reach out once every other month just to check in, see how you're doing. Now, what I could do, though, is I could set up a search. That way you can see houses just once a month. And really, I'm doing this so I can keep my name in front of them because like I was telling Jackie earlier, a lot of people will say, yeah, I'm buying in 6 months to a year, when in reality, they're going to buy in like 2 months or 3 months. And they're really just doing that to get you off the phone. So at that point, you do want to follow up every 3 to 4 weeks, just to make sure you stay in front of them. And now you're sending them a search at least once a month or once every 2 weeks. That way your name is in the back of their head. So when they think of realtor, they're thinking of you or real estate agent. Now, a lot of these people, especially buyers, They don't know what they want. They don't know what they're doing. They find a lot of stuff online, and especially they look on Zillow. So a lot of these people will say, no, don't worry, I can look on Zillow. That's fine. Well, that's where I come in and use my knowledge and expertise, saying, oh, wait, Zillow is a great website. Sure, you can look at all the properties you want in the world. However, you never know when a house is under contract. And that's the one main thing that separates me from everyone else in MLS. They'll say, yeah, when I find a house, I'll just let you know. And at that point, I say, okay, that's great. But the biggest thing I hate doing is telling my customers or clients, saying, yes, you like this house, you send me the address. However, this one's under contract too. This is the 10th house you sent me that's under contract. Why don't we try something else? Why don't I set up a search for you where I can set it up in the MLS to where I'm not going to set up anything that is under contract. So I want to make sure at that point, I'm trying to tell them, hey, I am better than Zillow. This is what I want. And if we get that in their head that I'm better than Zillow, and that that Zillow doesn't know it all and I definitely have a better search, that'll give us the upper hand on getting in front of them, setting them up a search. Because if we can make it to where our name is in front of them every single week, that's the game plan. Because if they're looking on Zillow every day and they're talking to you, they may find a house they like and reach out to the listing agent to get more info, and then end up going with the buyer's agent who just pays them advertising on Zillow. So that's not what we want. We want to get in front of these people, tell them that our knowledge is better than Zillow, and make sure that they know that as well. When it comes to sellers, sellers is a different ball game. I reach out to expireds and withdrawns, not FSBOs too often, because there's just so many leads when it comes to expireds and withdrawns. But they're good leads, and the main reason why I like them is expireds and withdrawals tried selling their house with an agent before, and that's what I want. FSBOs, on the other hand, they're not trying to sell with an agent because, one, they're kind of cheap, or two, they think they can do it on their own, and so they just have a different mentality than the expireds and withdrawals. Usually with expireds, there's a reason why it didn't sell. One, it was overpriced. Two, the condition was just horrible. Or three, the location didn't look great. So with those three things, that's usually what I'll come into an expired and say. So I'll call an expired, and one question I always ask, and this is for everyone, hey, is this George? Because I want to make sure I'm talking to the right person. If it says like George Smith and I hear a female's voice, obviously it's not a George. So at that point, I'm going to say, hey, is this Mrs. Smith? And, with that kind of peppy, energetic attitude, they're more inclined to talking to you. So at that point, they'll say, yeah, this is George. How can I help you? I'll just say, hey, George, this is Austin Frangoules, realtor in wherever their house is. If it's in Chesapeake, I'll say, realtor in Chesapeake, even though I do a lot of business in Virginia Beach. And I'll say, I was just looking at the website today and saw that your house expired. Why do you think it expired on the market? And a lot of the times, they're actually open to telling you why it expired. They'll say, well, the agent didn't do enough. The agent did no marketing. Just no buyers came through. The house didn't sell, blah, blah, blah. At this point, this is where I come in and say, well, at the same time, I'm doing a search. So I'll even show you guys how I do a search for that. Let me share my screen. So what I'll do is I actually go to RPR, and I'll probably be on Mojo at the same exact time. Drag Mojo over here. And we'll just choose a random seller. Jose. Jose's seller, he has a house over here on Cove Drive, Hampton. So what I do really, really fast, and I use RPR because I'm a realtor, but most real estate agents don't have that access. So you can do a quick CMA on rain. However, RPR helps out a lot faster. So I'll go in here and see 212 Hampton. I can see that the RPR thinks the house should have sold at 324. Comps go between 308 and 341. I can see in here the neighborhood. Put this here. There we go. So I can see here the yellow marker is the house. If I'm going to click around, I can see if there's been any other houses for sale. I can see there's been a blue house that is currently for sale, but at 145. It's a smaller house. However, some that big of a price difference, the house probably is not in good shape. But RPR shows you an estimated value of every house around, which is very nice. So what I'm doing here is I'm usually using the knowledge that I have, saying, hey, it was very close. Your house honestly should have sold right around 324. So usually when a house is overpriced, not many people actually are interested in it. Even though you might say, yes, I'm okay with negotiations, sometimes people don't want to negotiate. They just want to offer a full price. And it happens sometimes. And if they see, or for instance, if I'm setting up a search for a buyer and they say, yeah, I'm looking for up to 315 or 320, and this house is listed at 330, even though I knew the seller would go down to 330 or 320 as well. If I put in a search for 320, I'll never find this house at 330, even though they're willing to go down to 320. So my biggest goal there is to get in front of them and make sure they understand what price it should have been at. Now with RPR, it's just an estimated value. So I'll say, all right, this is just an estimated value. It should have sold right around 324. I know you were listed at 330. Usually with expireds, this is completely different. Like this will be at 350 and then this will be at 325. So it's a lot bigger of a difference. But something else that I'll do is I'll actually go into rain real quick. So I can see it's 212 and I gotta log in the rain real quick. So I'll see it's 212 Cove Drive. So I'll just do a quick search of that website or that house. Sorry, clicking in rain over here. And usually I have my screen split into two. That way, ooh, all right. It says I'm not in here. That way I can do searches extremely fast when I'm talking expireds and withdrawals, because you have to get info quick. Because the more you can tell them about their house without ever seeing it, the more inclined they're to talk to you. Especially when I can go on here. Oh my gosh. When I can go on here and then click through the photos, which I love doing, because if I'm clicking through the photos and I see that this house is not in good shape, or they only have 3 to 4 photos, I know exactly why it expired. At that point, I can go in and say, hey, look, your agent only put 3 to 4 photos. And then I give them an example saying, hey, when I'm doing a search for my buyers, I actually put in there 15 plus photos every single time. Because I tell all my people, if the house has less than 15 photos, when we can put up to 50, they're probably hiding something here. And that's not something we want to see. So here I can click on this and I can actually see the photos inside, which I love doing because one, I could put in my opinion saying, hey, this house is way too colorful. Not a lot of buyers actually walk in and love seeing every single wall being a different color. And they really do have a different color all over in this place, which is not good. Now, paint is an easy solution. However, when it comes to selling a house, if a house needs painting, when I'm walking through with my buyers and we can see that it needs painting, my buyers will say, yeah, we'll just ask for a $10,000 allowance. Yeah, and it's the truth. So at that point, I tell the seller, like, hey, look, maybe if we got your house painted, we would have a lot better chance. But look, they even have this salmon and yellow color in their room. This makes no sense. I know. If it was all just one color, it gives the buyers a more incentive to say, okay, yeah, I can do this with a house. But when the entire house is salmon and just random colors everywhere, it's not as great as a sell. So this is where I try and put in my expertise saying, yes, what we could do is if we list at 325, got the house painted, I think we can sell at that price, something your other agent couldn't have done. And so the sellers over here, they're a different world because now they're all angry. And for some reason, they're mad at YouTube because you're just a real estate agent. And there's 7,500 of us. So they're like, what can you do different? But if you can pull up this info saying, hey, look, your house should have sold at 324, 324.9. And if we painted the house, I really think we would have a great chance of selling. Now at this price, they try listing at 340. So it makes me wonder why they're trying to sell so much higher, especially when I'm looking around on this map here and see everything else in the mid twos. Now it makes a little sense because they do have the biggest yard out there. They really do. They have a giant yard compared to everyone else. But everyone else is in the twos. There's one at 318 over here, but it doesn't make much sense for them. They do have the biggest house in the whole place too. So sometimes having the biggest and best house isn't always the best because it brings you down just a little bit, which isn't that good, and a lot of sellers don't understand that. If I'm calling withdrawns, it's almost the same exact concept that I use for expireds, except withdrawns, and I'll go to a withdrawn example. So if I'm looking at withdrawns here, I can see, so these are the brand new people that have withdrawn on the market today. I can see it was only 39 days on the market. Usually at that point, it's tough because if it's less than like 3 weeks to 4 weeks, these people probably regretted selling or something happened. So it's kind of tough. But if it's been on the market 120 days and now they withdrew, what could have happened, and this actually happens often, to where their contract was like 125 days and it's day 122 and the agent doesn't want an expired on their record. So they'll just say, hey, sellers wanted it gone, blah, blah, blah. In reality, they didn't. So that's why I love reaching out to withdrawns. They just didn't get the house sold quick enough. So that's what happened. But usually 39 days, it could be a very, very tight seller that says, hey, you can sell my house in 40 days, right? 30 days. Let me do that. Well, at that point, what I want to do is I want to go in there and I'm going to say, hey, look, generally it takes, in our area, it takes about 65 days for a house to be sold. And for me, though, generally my house is only selling the market about 15 days, 15 to 20 days. And the biggest reason behind that is because we price it right up front. And then we make sure that we do everything up front in the house to make it as sellable as fast as possible. Because if we have to sit on the market longer, these people are going to either see that and want to negotiate way down, or they're going to see it and say something's wrong with the house. And we don't want either of those. The goal is to get it sold as quick as possible, and they don't have to pay another mortgage payment. We just, sooner the better. So it's about controlling the sellers. And if they say, you can sell my house in 40 days. Well, all right, seller, I'd love to sell your house in 40 days, and most likely we will. However, I invest my commission up front before I ever get paid into selling your house. Generally, what I spend is about 1/3 of my paycheck before your house is sold, and I do this so I can market your property correctly rather than just putting the MLS, because I don't just put in the MLS. I do advertising on 300+ websites. We do a lot of social media posts. That's where a lot of people find houses these days. We make sure we're on that Zillow. We get a Zillow video. That way our property on Zillow is at the top of the search bar, because that video actually does increase it quite a bit. We like putting a virtual tour in there, and all of this costs money. And if I'm spending 1/3 of the property, what I want to do is make sure that my investment is secured with trying to sell your house, because I'm investing into your property to get it sold. So if I'm investing 1/3 of my commission, which usually I'm not, but kind of close, I mean, definitely my time is worth something as well. Then what I want to do is make sure that we're secured. So our contracts are 6 months. If you're not happy with me in the 3 months, then of course we can renegotiate there. But 40 days is not enough time to where I feel secure about putting my investment in. And my goal is to get it sold within those 3 weeks. So that's where I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that we get it sold as quick as possible. However, you have to work with me on getting that sold. If I tell you we need to paint the walls, we need to paint the walls. If we have to replace the carpet, we got to replace the carpet. But what I love doing is I have an open house on the first weekend that we put it on the market. The main reason isn't to sell the property right then and there, but our goal is to get feedback from buyers who see the house instantly on the market, and to get them to tell me what they think is wrong with the house, or what they like about the house. I mean, either one, but usually I'm trying to get stuff out of them saying, hey, is there anything about this house that you would change or you'd want different? And I'll never forget, there was this one property I had. It was on the market. It was about 30-something days, and I had an open house every single weekend. So I had about 4 open houses, and people constantly would tell me they hated the carpet upstairs. And I was like, man, I don't understand. Like, I think the carpet looks fine. They thought the carpet looked fine. However, I was like, hey, look, these buyers are telling us we need to replace the carpet. Let's replace the carpet. Let's just put something neutral up there. Because, I mean, I guess it was a little different color, but it still didn't look bad because it looked fine. But I was like, let's replace the carpet. We'll have another open house and then see what the buyers say. And that next open house, buyers loved it and bought it right then and there, and it's amazing. So really, it's getting that feedback from that open house is what's going to sell the property, and that's why I hold one as often as I can, because I use it as feedback. But I'm also trying to show the seller at that point, like, hey, look, I'm actively out at your house trying to sell it. Even though open houses don't generally sell the property, most sellers think that it does. So they're like, oh, okay, yeah, you're holding open houses. You're actually doing something. Even though we do a lot of work on the back end, like making sure we advertise your property correctly, making sure that we're still doing comps to make sure we're still priced correctly, and making sure that our house looks just as nice as everyone else's. And if it doesn't, we need to make sure our price reflects that. So the more knowledge you can throw out to the seller like that, left and right, really makes them think, okay, yeah, this person definitely knows what they're talking about. I need to go with them. And that's how I end up getting a lot of expires and withdrawals. For example, all the listings I have right now from expireds, I've got a property in Sandbridge for $660. That was an expired. I've got land, like 3 properties right now of land for sale, all for expireds. So it's really just getting in there, showing them your knowledge, and with that knowledge, it gives you the power in our market. Also, talking to these people first is the goal, and getting them to open up is the main goal. So once you get them to open up, so you talk about them, not really about yourself, and then once you get them all comfy and all that, then that's when you talk about yourself, what you can do, and bring out your knowledge. But you don't want these people to hang up immediately. So that's where you go in, talk about them, ask them questions, keep the conversation going. And that's honestly the best thing you can do. Now, did anyone have any questions? Because this could literally go in a million different ways, but those are the most common examples of what I come across on buyers and sellers. Can anyone think of anything? April, you have any questions? Susie, you guys got any questions? Jackie?
I can't think of anything.
Anything you think of? Did I try and
think of?
Okay. Yeah, with especially since we'll have you guys calling a lot of buyers, really the main goal for them is just keeping them on the phone. Like you've seen, April, these people will say, yeah, I've got a doctor's appointment, and say, okay, that's fine. You know, I just want to make sure I've got your search correctly. You know, tell me just a little bit what you're looking for. That way I can set up that search for you. And by doing that, it's redirecting them in a different path, because we don't want to just accept that no. Because if you accept that no, then they're never going to answer the phone again. But if you actually get to talk to them, let them know that you're an actual human being, because we're all humans, honestly, then they're more inclined to talking to you. I've had people be very rude, and honestly, you just got to have that thick skin and keep on moving, because if you don't, this business isn't going to go well. So it's honestly, with online leads, it's a 1 to 3% chance of converting these people. And if you can do that, you call 100 people every single day and convert just 1 person, you will be a rock star real estate agent. And that means you took 99 no's. I mean, literally, you took 99 no's. 99 people told you to get off, get away, F off, I don't care, I never want to talk to you. But it's that 1 person that you can actually convince and just talk to, and that's all that matters, and that's what makes someone successful in real estate. Having that thick skin, keeping the conversation going, letting them know you're an actual human being. Because when people be rude to me, I just try and kill them with niceness. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. You know, I really hope you have a great day. If you need anything, just take care. And that's the biggest thing. You kill them with niceness, and now they're like, ah, shit, maybe I shouldn't have been so mean. But some people are just so mean they don't care. So it's always pretty funny. But have that tough skin, because then that'll make you persevere through anyone else, and that's what separates the good agents from the bad agents. Anything you guys think of? All right. Well, if anyone had any questions later or wanted to talk to me or comment on the video, I'll be more than open to telling you guys. I'd like to have this at least once a month, though. Because every scenario is different. We all come across different scenarios as well. And that's why I love doing the live phone calls, because I never know what's going to happen. I'm just telling you guys what I come across often, but sometimes they say, hey, my child's dying. We need to buy a house. I'm like, oh, all right. what prepares you for that moment, you know? And that's just a random question, but honestly, it's just being sincere, being that human, talking about them, making sure everything's okay. And if you get on that friend level, that is where they trust you. And once you earn that trust, that is where they're more inclined to work with you. So if you guys ever had any questions, you know, always feel free to reach out. I'll definitely do this once a month. And you guys take care.